Yesterday, Candace Owens wades into the conversation. Candace Owens, after she gets her internet and her electricity back, she lives in the middle of the storm. She logs on to report her findings, her observations. The mommy sleuth, that's what they call themselves on her channel. Sherlock Holmes, the top investigator, she went out to look at her backyard and she said, I see all this ice on my deck, on the trees, the power lines. She said, I grew up in Connecticut. I've seen ice my whole life. I've never seen ice like this. She says, it's 30 degrees and I don't see this water, or rather, I don't see this ice melting at all. She says, it's not even dripping. She says, it's 30 degrees and the ice isn't melting. 30 degrees, it's not even dripping. She comes back, she doubles down, she jumps in the replies and says, it's more like dry ice than real ice. She says, I reiterate, it's 30 degrees and the ice isn't melting. And everybody points out the freezing point for water is 32 degrees. So if it's under 32 degrees, then water will be frozen. If it is over 32 degrees, then water will be liquid. These are the chemical properties of water on planet Earth. And actually, I think in the universe, these are the chemical properties of water in its various states as a solid, a liquid, a vapor. People quickly pointed this out. They said, Candace, that actually makes perfect sense because water does not begin to melt. Frozen water, otherwise known as ice, does not begin to melt until the temperature reaches 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And let me tell you, here's the best part, because a lot of people miss this. So she got community noted. Everybody's laughing at her. The community notes say, okay, water freezes at 32. And everybody's pointing this out. I think a lot of people miss this. And I was driving around today and it dawned on me. I said, so we can learn two things from this. Number one, clearly Candace Owens does not know that the freezing point for water is 32 degrees, which is, how do you not know that? You're a 35-year-old adult. You're living in the United States. It's not like we're in Ghana. It's not like we're in the Sentinel Islands off the coast of India where the scientific revolution hasn't happened yet. It's the 21st century. We live in the United States. You live in an industrialized nation with literacy and universal education. You're 35 years old. How do you not know? I mean, this is like the basics. I think everybody knows this. 32 degrees is when water freezes.
Yeah, okay, that's true, but still, are we gonna make fun of each other because of ice now? Seriously? Is this the point we have reached now? We have so many problems in our country. I feel like we have more important work to do instead of like roasting each other because of ice, because of snow. Like, what a joke. And I don't know, maybe is Nick a little bit obsessed with Candace Owens or something? Like, he is always talking about her. Meanwhile, Candace barely talks about Nick, so this is kind of weird. But yeah, okay, it is true what Nick said, but it's kind of weird to make fun of Candace Owens because of this. I mean, we can all make some mistakes, right?
That's like 101, like, are you smarter than a fifth grader? But then I was thinking further. So one, we now know for a fact she does not know that water freezes at 32 degrees, which is kind of insane. But here's what's even better. You have to wonder, what temperature does she think water freezes at? If it's not 32, what do you think she thinks it is? And I had sort of an epiphany while I was driving. I thought, she probably thinks it's 0. Because what else, if you don't think it's 32 or you don't know it's 32, what would you guess it is? And if I had to speculate, I would say she thinks it's 0, because the way that she said it as though it was so self-evidently suspicious. She said, it is 30 freaking degrees and the ice isn't melting. What's going on, guys? She said, and I will say it again, 30 damn degrees and the ice isn't melting? Who has ever heard of such a thing? Like, she said it like she was outraged. She said it like it was so ridiculous, like it was unheard of. The way that she doubled, tripled down, 30 degrees, and water is still frozen. I mean, come on. Like it was self-evidently outrageous that this is going on. And I think the only conclusion you have to draw is like she thinks water freezes at 0 degrees. And if you think that would be insane. If you think that water freezes at 0 and it's 30, you'd be like, okay, what's going on here? It is 30 degrees above the freezing point of water, and there's not even a drip. There's not even a trickle. And that's why maybe you'd go and post that. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's probably what's going on. And in which case, you go, why does anybody listen to this person? Here's the best part. She's on her show a couple weeks ago. She goes, I don't know why anybody listens to Nick Fuentes. He's a theater kid. And grown men should not listen to flamboyant theater kids, blah, blah. Okay, let's, for the sake of argument, accept this idea. Well, if that's the case, I think you definitely can't be listening to somebody that doesn't know the physical properties of water. Like, she goes, grown men can't listen to this guy. This is some entertainer. This is just some frivolous performer. Okay, you don't know that ice is created at 32 degrees. I think that's a little bit of a bigger issue, don't you think? And anyway, so she gets community noted twice. Everybody's talking about it. She comes back to do a little damage control. Get a load of this. She says, well, I should have mentioned that my deck is 10 degrees warmer than the rest of the neighborhood. That was her idea of damage control. She didn't come out and say, oh, my bad, I'm a dumb idiot. She comes out and her damage control, she replies to somebody and says, oh, I should have mentioned, my outdoor deck is always 10 degrees warmer than the rest of the planet. She said, so actually it's 40 degrees on my deck. Whoops, left that part out. She goes, the temperature gauge on my deck, you mean your thermometer? Like, I said it the other week, you can't argue with a crazy bitch because then it just makes you crazy.
Bro, what? I mean, like, I understand where Nick is coming from, and it is kind of weird. But then still, why are we discussing about ice? Seriously, I also see on social media so many people now, they're talking about the snow and the ice. Like, do we not have more important work to do? People can barely pay their rent. Have you been to the grocery store? How crazy expensive everything is? And people there are, like, freaking out because of snow, because of ice. Come on, we have more important work to do. Like, seriously, this is our least problem. Seriously, right? Try to pay your rent. Try to take some gas. I mean, okay, gas is cheaper now, but still, you get the point. We have more important work to do than to discuss about ice. And I think, like, Nick should be a little bit more respectful towards Candace Owens. And I don't know, I'd rather see them working together instead of, like, constantly, like, fighting each other. They should, like, bundle their strength. They should group together instead of, like, constantly, like, I don't know, maybe they do this for the views or something, but they're always attacking each other. It's such a waste. If they would work together, I would love to see a debate between Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens. Why are they not doing this instead of, like, constantly attacking each other on their own channels? This is so stupid. It's a waste of time. Work together. Like, bundle your strength. That would be better.
You're sitting there arguing with a woman, first of all, but then you're arguing with a woman who is saying this stuff. It's like on Fresh and Fit when they go to one of the girls and they say, name 3 countries, and they go, Africa, Paris, you know, like you're dealing. First of all, you find yourself arguing with a woman. Big mistake. Second of all, you're arguing with a woman who doesn't know what she's talking about. Then you just get further into it. She goes, oh, well, my deck is 10 degrees warmer than everywhere else. According to the temperature gauge. You mean your thermometer? Okay, I guess. Like, I told you, I have been saying this for years. She's just dumb. There's this new Twitter account, Candace Owens Can't Read. And every day, how many words are we up to now? So far we got, she can't pronounce compartmentalize. That's compartmentalize for her. She can't pronounce legitimize. For her, it is legitimatize. She can't pronounce architecture. For her, it's architecture. Today, the new one is debacle. She pronounces it debacle. Debacle. We got a little debacle about our temperature gauges. Why isn't this water melting at 30 degrees? I mean, this delegitimizes the damn ass weather, for crying out loud. I don't know, man. I've been telling you for years, she's not smart. And that's something you can't hide. There's a lot of things that you can get away with in show business. There's a lot of things you could get away with if you're in front of a camera. If you are straight up a dummy, you don't know what you don't know. You can't possibly prepare to do a show and go through everything that you do not know and all the things that you think you know, but you don't really. Like, there's no way to sit down and say, wait a second, do I know the freezing temperature for water? You can't prepare for that. You can't go live and say, am I pronouncing the word debacle correctly? You just can't. How can you prepare for that? If you don't know it, you don't know it. You can't know that you don't know it. You're just, and I mean, people get away with being dumb online. You got to be really dumb for it to be that aggressive. Holy. Anyway, so I saw that today. I was like, wow. And she's got one of the biggest podcasts in the country. What does that tell you? I've been saying it for years. The biggest red pill is that most people are retarded. That is the biggest red pill. If you are an intelligent person, the biggest red pill you will find, and I think most people sort of know this, but you really need to process this, is that most people are completely retarded. Because what does it say about the country that this is one of the most popular podcasters that is around? By far. It ain't even close. I mean, she's got millions and millions of downloads on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. People are signing up in her like army. And it's like this every day. History, pronouncing words, science, it's just basic stuff. And you go, how are people not catching this? But I mean, this is the type of crowd that watches Sean Hannity. It's the type of crowd that thinks Kai Cenat is really funny. It's like Kai Cenat not being able to read. You go, who is influencing the population? How do people watch this? And you go, they're even dumber than the influencers. Probably Candace Owens' audience is even dumber than her, and that's scary. That's disturbing. I see another clip from the other day. She's arguing with Bill Maher about the moon landing. Bill Maher said, well, we went back to the moon a bunch of times. She goes, we did? He goes, yeah, we went back to the moon like 10 times. She goes, oh. It's like, well, okay, what are we doing? Like, what do you know? You don't know anything. Anyway, so that's that. I just think that's totally insane.
Come on, to be honest, like, it's not fair to say that Candace Owens is stupid or something, and you should ask yourself, why do you think that she has so many followers, so many supporters? Because so many people, they actually believe what she is saying, they actually agree with what she is saying. So, I don't know, it's kind of disrespectful to say these kind of things about Candace Owens. I know, like, Nick, he almost, like, hates her or something, it looks like it, but he's also a little bit obsessed with her, and I'm not trying to defend Candace or something, and sometimes maybe she makes some mistakes. I mean, we're all humans, like, that's possible. Even me, I can also make some mistakes when I'm talking on these videos. So to like, it's kind of like low to like gotcha with these kind of things. I don't really agree with this, but again, yeah, sometimes like you should ask yourself this question: why do you think that so many people like to listen to Candace Owens? Because she is actually saying some things what many people actually like. So to say that she is stupid, I don't know. I think it says more about yourself to say these kind of things about her than it says about her, if you understand what I mean. So, and I'm not trying to glaze her or something, but it's just like weird. Nick is always like attacking her. And again, I just wish they would debate each other instead of like constantly making videos about each other on their own platform. If they should literally have a discussion, a debate. That would be the best, right? But they're not doing this. So, or maybe they will in 2026. I don't know. I'm very curious. I think they will actually, but let's see. But I don't know. It looks like this obsession with Candace Owens, it's kind of like weird. Maybe Nick is low-key in love with her. I don't know.
I feel a little sorry for her. I'm sure it must be embarrassing, but I want to move on. I want to get into our news for the night. That's just a little levity. And at first, I want to get into the story about Alex Preddy. I mean, this is just delicious. So as you know, we are in another holiday. Trump is another Hitler. ICE is the new Gestapo. Illegal immigrants are the new. And this is just shutting the whole country down. It's grinding the country to a halt. We've been covering this now for several weeks, and we are thoroughly in a phenomenon. Let's be very clear about what this is. There is a massive, organized, concerted effort to prevent mass deportations. We're in a war here. And it's sort of a complicated picture because on the one hand, you have the Trump administration that is not even really doing mass deportations. It's not even really happening. And we've talked about this in great detail. And if you want more of that, you can watch my show from last night and the night before. But the best available estimates say that the Trump administration only deported about 230,000 people last year, which is really not very much, especially in light of how many people have crossed the border illegally in just the past 5 or 6 years. In the first Trump administration, in the Biden administration, this is really nothing. And what's more, even this year, in a year where the border is absolutely secure, you might be getting anywhere between 20,000 to 100,000. It's hard to estimate it, but you might be getting somewhere around, let's throw a dart in the middle of it. Let's say you got 50,000 illegal immigrants that you could call gotaways, people that slipped across the border without being detected or apprehended. When you think about the fact that you cannot completely control irregular, illegal migration into the United States, at the end of the day, on net, how many people are you actually removing? Is it 180,000? Is it 150,000? It's 230,000 at the absolute most, but it could even be fewer than that on net. And when you take into account that under Biden, we were talking millions coming across every single year, there's nothing massive about this. It's not systematic. It is not massive. It does not reverse even the worst years of immigration that took place in the last administration under the predecessor. So this is why I say the picture is a little bit complex. It's not even really a massive deportation. There's sort of this open-ended question about whether there will be anything like a massive deportation. There seems to be an element inside the administration that is trying to make it happen. There are good people at ICE, at DHS, at Border Patrol. They want mass deportations, and there is an effort to get those resources to do it, to build the detention capacity, to hire the requisite personnel, train the existing personnel. There are lawyers working on the legal remedies when they get an injunction from a judge or when they run into some of these problems, like when they deport the wrong person, which there were a few high-profile cases like this. And so there does seem to be an effort inside the administration to follow through on this. There is extraordinary pressure from Trump's political base, from the voters, to follow through on this. At the same time, Trump is either completely unwilling or completely unable to actually satisfy these demands. Unwilling because there is pressure from the Chamber of Commerce. There is pressure from Wall Street, from Silicon Valley, from big agriculture, not to actually follow through. And it's also a question of competence. There's a faction inside the White House that wants it. It's debatable what side Trump is really on. There's also a very strong faction that is trying to shut it down. And maybe it's simply for lack of ability that Trump is not able to follow through. In any case, it's sort of interesting that one of the sides isn't even really a coherent side. It's not even that we are doing a massive deportation. It is the threat that we want one or that one might happen down the line. Now, what is very real, even if the mass deportations are not happening, what is very real is that the left is shutting it down regardless. even to the extent that there are large numbers of illegal immigrants being physically removed from the interior of the country, and 2/3 of them, most of them, do not have a criminal rap sheet, the Democrats are doing everything in their power to stop it.
Of course they will. Like, why are we surprised? Of course they will, and they have all the rights to do this, but I'm not even surprised. I wish, like, the people on the right, like, for example, Donald Trump himself, he would also use his power, but he is not doing this. And for exactly the reason. Why do you think, like, what is happening in Minneapolis now? It's just one big show. It's all distraction, in my opinion. One big show. They sent all these ICE troops out. They look like army guys. They're filming everything, just to, like, show the people, like, look, we are busy with mass deportations. Meanwhile, you have states with way more illegal aliens, and they're not over there. Why are they all in Minnesota now? Why are they all in Minneapolis if we have states with way more illegal aliens? I believe we have only in Minnesota there are like 200,000 illegal aliens. So why are all these ICE agents over there if we have states with almost like 1 million illegal aliens? That's kind of weird, right? But exactly because the biggest donors, the biggest friends, or the most rich friends of Donald Trump, they give work to a lot of illegal aliens as well themselves. So they're scared. They don't want Donald Trump to go after their people who work for them because they make a lot of money with these kind of people. And this double standard is kind of weird, right? But yeah, I wish Donald Trump was using his power because he is not doing this. Why? I don't know. Because I used to say this in all my videos. He won in a landslide. He even won the popular vote. He can do so many things, but it looks like he is controlled or something. Maybe people have blackmail about him. I'm just thinking out loud. I have no idea. But it's kind of weird that Donald Trump is not doing anything for the people who voted for him, but he is giving he is doing a lot for like his biggest donors, his closest friends. He became a billionaire himself, also very suspicious, right? So yeah, long story short, excuse me for my little rant, but yeah, the left is doing this. Of course they are doing this because they are using the power they have. And I wish that the people on the right, Donald Trump, this administration, would also do this in the opposite way. But they are not doing this. They are not doing this. They just talk, but they never act. And this is the reason why so many people there are so annoyed. Like, why would we still vote if it doesn't make any difference? It's, what a joke, right?
And I think this tells you something extraordinary about what the Democratic Party really is and what the left really is. Because for them, mass migration is a non-negotiable part of their vision, which is actually a little bit strange when you consider it. Because what are the fundamental planks of the Democratic Party? You could say it's about the working class. It's about American labor, like union workers, machinists, manufacturing workers. It's about public sector unions. It's about the poor. It's about the rights of minorities and women. And arguably, mass migration is not good for any of these groups. The illegal immigrants that come here get raped. The women get raped along the way. The illegal immigrants that come here are competing with our lower class that is native born for government benefits. There's only so many benefits and emergency rooms and public schooling to go around. They're in direct competition. They're also in competition for the jobs. And then when it comes to union labor, this is undercutting good, high-paying union jobs. It's arguable whether that's even good. And yet for Democrats, this is like a completely non-negotiable part of their platform. And it is absolute. They will entertain no limits on immigration, no restrictions on immigration, legal or illegal. It does not matter. They don't want to deport anybody. And that is effectively the policy under Obama and Biden. They were not deporting anybody. We talked about this last night. By the end of Obama's term, the only people they were deporting were illegal immigrants that happened to be arrested by cops for other crimes. If an illegal immigrant got picked up for murder or in the course of that other crime, and then the cops ran their information and determined they were illegal, only then were they deported. That's not really, we're not even really enforcing immigration law at that point.
Yeah, okay, that's also ridiculous to be honest. And I hope every American, no matter if you're left, right, a Republican, a Democrat, I don't really care, but I really hope that if we have people living in our country who are doing these horrible things, I hope every American wants these people to leave, right? Wants them to go, because we cannot let people come into our country who are like behaving like this. This could be a potential threat to your own family, to your own children, like your closest friends. Why would we let these people still live in our country if they prove themselves that they are doing these kind of things? I also think this is not good, but again, this is my opinion. I'm very curious about your opinion. Please share your opinion in the comments. Like, do you agree with Nick on this one? Do you disagree? I'm very curious. Share your opinion in the comments. It's very important to say. I read all comments. I even try to reply to some of your comments. So I'm very curious. As well, if you like these videos, please hit the like button. If you really like these kind of videos, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. And then you make sure you don't miss anything. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.